I was going to also show you what the Governors Forum said about the minimum wage. And the Governors Forum, which of course is the umbrella body of association for all the governors of the 36 states. And this is what the Governors Forum said. This was on Thursday, and they said, all things considered, this is part of the statement released by the Governors Forum. All things considered, the NGF holds that a 60,000 naira minimum wage proposal is not sustainable and cannot fly. It will simply mean that many states will spend all their federal allocations on just paying salaries with nothing left for development purposes. In fact, a few states will end up borrowing to pay workers every month. We do not think this will be in the collective interest of the country, including workers. The statement released by the Director of Media Affairs and Public Affairs of the Nigerian Governor Forums, Alhaji Salihu Ahmed. What do you make of that position? Because this is an official position of the Governors Forum.
I totally disagree with that. Any serious governor that put his priority right can pay 60,000 naira comfortably. In the civil service structure, both at the national and the states, if you know the number of ghost workers in the states that directly goes back to certain individuals, you will be shocked and you will be amazed. Any governor that is very thorough with his system and purge the entire ghost workers in the system, and you have effective civil service, is not the size that matters, it's the efficiency that matters. They can pay 60,000 naira comfortably without borrowing. If you look at their security votes, what they do with the security votes, if you look at other projects that they did that is completely insignificant, have not impacted anything on the citizens, what are they doing with the money? Now, the trillions that are being paid to the states, or the billions that are being paid to the states, take the number of civil servants in the states and equate it to the cost of 30,000 naira. How much is it? How much is a PAMSEC in the state being paid? When you get that figure, you know that they are not sincere with it. And we are not sincere about it. We don't want to solve the problem. We want to use it as a tool of distraction and making it close to impossible for anybody to.
All right, so Alhaji Gabam, there are small states and there are big states in terms of revenue and the monies in their purse. And there are those who believe, yes, there are some states, in fact, some states had actually come to this figure before now to say some states have already come up to say this is what they will pay. Lagos muted the idea, those states had gone ahead. But there are some states who are smaller, the federal allocation is very minimal. And there are states that have gotten up to 24, 25, 20 billion naira in federal allocation. Exactly. And there are some of them who have gotten about 3 to 4 billion. And they're states in the same state within the 36 states of the Federation. So there are states that have the capacity, there are states who do not have the capacity. Should this state be paying, have the same template of minimum wage, or cut your coat according to your size? Because the standard of living in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and other metropolitan states, you can't compare it to other states that are not as much as big.
But what I think that is rational, you look at the size of your states, and the size of the state determines the number of civil servants in the states. And what are the priority areas? You deal with priorities. You adjust your economic structure, your internally generated revenue. These are the federal monthly allocation you're talking about. You're not talking about also the internally generated revenue. What are they doing with it? So if you have a state, assuming that have about 300 civil servants, 300 times 60,000, you'll get the figure. Now, that's aside. If we want to solve this problem once and for all, we have to amend the Land Use Act. We have to amend the Land Use Act. The protocol associated to Land Use Act must be removed. State must be allowed to generate revenue based on their natural endowments and pay percentage to federal, so that they will have sufficient resources to deal with their peculiarities, deal with their challenges, financial requirements, and so on and so forth. All right, these are openings that the federal can sit down and work with the state so that there will be influx into the states and stop producing lazy governance.
Yeah, let's conclude in 30 seconds. My question would be, don't you think there should be state minimum wage and federal minimum wage? Because federal government has its own workers, state has their own workers, so that each state can be able to take its own destiny based on its capacity.
I think the state civil servants are subject to the national union organizations because they need protection.
But the economy of each state is different.
Well, it is different, but then you have right now as it is, even when the salary is as low as 10,000 naira. Some civil servants are being paid 10,000, 20,000 naira. Some states don't pay salaries. It's there, you know it better. You have the statistics. So how do you justify that? They can afford to deal with it. We must be honest with it. We must deal with it holistically. The federal government must admit things are bad. You cannot be taxing people and you expect them not to. I saw one rascally civil servant who said that if you have access to money, you go and steal that money because he cannot feed himself, not to talk of his family. But this is the reality on ground. So the federal government must face that reality, deal with it in the most honest and sincere way. This is my honest advice.
The National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Alhaji Shehu Gabam, it's always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.